really in-depth one. Well, it is going to be in-depth, but I'm not going to be able to show it on the drone, obviously, because I'm inside. It's almost 12 o'clock at night, and it's a bit hard to tell a drone to go flying. But one of the things that comes up, and I've noticed a bit, is people asking about tower and 3DR's tower and how to use it and things like that. So I figured we'd have a quick look at tower and how you use it. So when you load tower up, you get an interface like this. If you've got the telemetry in, you'd come down here to here and you would click and it'd connect, and you get a couple other options for controlling the drone itself. If I get 5 minutes here, I might just at least power up the drone and show what that looks like. You can change the widgets and the likes of the settings that you've got over here. You can come in and go to your settings, and you'll notice that you've got user interface here, and you've got some widget preferences. So you can show all these various bits and pieces depending on what you have. You can show the lat longs, the flight timers, the speed and altitude, diagnostics and the like. I just tend to have this set on. You can change who your map provider is, though really there isn't any there. You can change your type of tiles that you get. You can allow it to be rotated, the map to be rotated and stuff like that. And you can show your camera and all this fun stuff, as well as telling it that you want to keep the screen on and the screen locked in whichever position it was when you connected. I tend to turn my speech outputs on. I also tend to turn my warnings on and things like that, so I know when my connections, my low battery. I may actually turn that one on just to be safe. And of course we can change what it gives and when it gives it. So I've got it every 60 minutes. It gives me these reads them out to me. My English is my UI is in English. We're using the metric system and the like. So that's how you do your interface. You can change your maximum altitude preferences, your minimum altitude, your default altitude. So if you know that trees around you are, say, like around here, and I actually do need to change this, so I know the trees around here are about 20 to 25 metres. I can tell it that I want it to go to 25 metres as a default. We can also do things like the preference stuff, like auto insert of takeoff and landing into missions and things like that. So we're going to go back to our vehicle data screen here. You'll notice we've now got this extra little box just down here. And if we take a second here, so just give me one moment, I'll actually power the drone up and connect the radio and the like in. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Just sit that there for a moment. I'm going to grab just one of my lower batteries. So I'll grab my 2.2 milliamp, a 2.2 amp battery here. And if you bear with me just for a moment, I will grab my drone. on my quad seems they're not really drones. Or they are, but they're not. This remotely piloted quad vehicles. So we can just turn my quad power up down there. I'll sit this down on the floor here. I'll grab my my transmitter so I can connect the telemetry radio up to the tablet. So we're going to have a rotate here just for a moment. We watch 3DR services start, so we can tap connect down here. As you can see, we've connected and we've got some different options down here. We've got ARM, Droney. I'm probably not going to be able to ARM because we've got no fix. So a couple of things we need to look at here. One, we can see our battery, and if we press and hold on this, we get some extra information. I'll move the mouse out of the way here. So we can see the current and the overall current draw and the overall battery percentage. We press and hold on the mode here. We can see all the different modes and we can actually select them. So if we don't have one of these on our radio, we can actually enter out holds.
Mode altitude hold.
Or presuming I can get my radio to actually bind. So we just armed.
Waypoints received.
And you'll notice that it changed, and I'm just going to disarm.
Disarmed. Mode return to launch. Mode position hold. Mode stabilize.
So, as you can see there, we can see the strength of our radio, the noises, see how far it is from home, or from its return to launch or return to me. And we can change whether or not we're seeing data such as what the current GPS data is and stuff like that. Of course, we can arm the drone by coming down here and sliding to arm.
Armed. Waypoints received.
Or we can disarm the same way. You can also tell it to do automatic flight and things like that the exact same way. So that's just the basics of this section of tower. Now, apart from the fact I have a rather itchy nose here, if we jump over here and we go to the editor here, what we can do in here is everything that you technically could do in something like Mission Planner or the like, you can actually do in Tower. You just have to know how to do it. And that's the trick. So, let's say this is one of the ovals where I tend to fly. Let's say, for example, that I wanted my drone to go up, but I wanted the buildings to be my point of interest. So no matter what my drone does, I want just here to be my point of interest. At the moment it's like, well, hang on a second, Rob, your drone's going to fly there. And you're right, at the moment my drone would fly there. But so we'll disconnect and we'll bring up the waypoint, and you can see it says waypoint over here. But what we want to do is we actually want to press and hold here, or just tap. You'll see that we get a bunch of new options, and one of those options is to set a region of interest. So that's now our region of interest. We can tell it what altitude we want it to aim at. So we're going to say 20 meters or 25 meters. which was its default, so we're just going to leave that as the default. Can hear my radio going. Excuse me, you're not talking to me here. That, and I bumped the throttle. So that's our region of interest. Now let's say, for example, this will be our takeoff point over here. So we're going to go take off here, and we can tap in our waypoints. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we could go through and we could go, okay, so number 2 here is actually going to be our first waypoint, or it might be a blind waypoint, or perhaps we wanted to change the speed or something like that. We can do all that in here. Now, but what I normally do here is, instead of doing something like this, say I wanted to do some speed changes. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to drop out, so I kind of need to double check. I need to see if we've recovered. But I know this is going to have messed up, so apart from the fact that I just showed, if it is working, I quite possibly almost just showed some people some stuff that I really didn't want to. I want to go to okay, according to this I'm still live. No, it did drop out. The looks of it, I dropped out. So I'm going to have to continue on from where I was up to, or at least try to. So this is where we got up to. We had tower open, and all we had was showing the waypoint. So we set a point of interest over here, and I'm going to put down a waypoint just here. So if we select this waypoint, say I wanted my drone to move at a set speed. So let's say I wanted it to move at 2 meters a second. So 2 meters a second. So that's what it's going to do at this waypoint. That waypoint number 2 tells it that it's to move at 2 meters a second. Now I want it to fly from here around here like this, so I can draw, and you'll see that it gives us a set of waypoints. And then we can come in and we can modify these as we need to. We could set different angles, so you know, if we wanted it to be going north, waypoint 3 will have it going north. Or maybe I wanted it pointing east or something, you know, whatever I wanted. I actually want it to be a because we've changed the setting for this one now. It's no longer a waypoint, so it's removed from the actual map. So if we wanted to do anything with it, we'd have to put it in again. So we're going to go from number 3 here. But at number 3 we could tell it that we want it to delay. We want it to change altitude. We could say that we want it to do a circle here. I want it to do, say, 4 circles, 10, say 5 meters, and an altitude of 30. Then at number 5, I want it to actually curve rather than being that sharp turn. Same with this one. We want it more of a spline. Then say over here at number 8, I want my drone to really come up and give me a really nice view of the area around. So maybe, you know, I want it to come up to 100 meters. I want it to sit here for a minute, and then this one's still going to be up at 100 meters over here. Then I want it to do another circle again, and I want its radius to be a little bit bigger. And because I'm trying to get a new point of interest at this point, I could set just before. I could have set just before it a new point of interest. So it's going to do the circle, but it's going to try and keep looking out over here. You know, I could have set, say, the point of interest out towards the town. And it would have given a nice view up there. Then over here we're going to tell it that we want to bring it back down to the 20 meters. I want it to delay a little bit, just to give it time to come down. I mean, it's got to delay. It's got to come down 80 meters. Then over here at 11, maybe I want it to land. I can tell it to land. So at this point I've got my mission. And all I have to do is come over here, tell it to upload the mission, and it will upload it to the drone. Or, let's say for example I need to export it. I can export it or I can import it. I can download missions, say the drone's got one. We'll see that the drone doesn't actually currently have any waypoints stored on it, because the drone doesn't currently have any waypoints stored on it. But it's just a rough, quick overview of Tower. You can do a lot of things in here. You'd need to check your checklist, for example. You can check in here and you'll notice that I'm not getting any satellites. I'm inside, the drone's down on the floor, and it's really crappy weather outside. So we're not getting the necessary satellites for what we want. We can check the parameters of the drone. So here we can see all of the drone's parameters. In this angle max, I actually want to change this one because Basically 22 is a little shallow. And if you go and read the Hobby King forums and the like, you'll see that a lot of people are recommending that you adjust the angle a little bit. So I'm just trying to find where it was, or if I actually, no, sadly I didn't save the value, so we'll do a quick read down here for a moment. So angle max is 3500. What that does is it means that the drone can get a little bit faster. And it's going well. You got save changes here now. So what we can do is upload. Now the drone's allowed to move itself a little bit further forwards in the effort to go faster. So towers will do everything you need it to do, just like Mission Planner would. You can even do your calibrations in here if you really needed to. I'm not going to, my drone is actually calibrated. But yeah, and if you want it to follow you, you can do a droney or stuff like that. You can have it take off.
Waypoints received.
So if it was if I told it to take off and it was up in the air, it would have the option here to follow me. I'm actually trying to disarm it. There we go. Etc, etc. So my suggestion to anybody is really to sit down and play with the Tower app if you get a chance. Anyway, my name's Rob. I will talk to you later. Bye.